Good evening, Driven AF Recovery. It's Thursday night. I think it'll be our new night. Whenever the hell it posts. Welcome everybody. We got Josh, Maddie, Steven. We didn't have much of an alumni tonight, but we got our guys. So we'll have some more next time. And I want to introduce Q. He works here.
What's going on, guys? First time.
Welcome, Q.
Welcome.
We've been wanting to get you on here, so we got you on here. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, if you like something, anything,
Nothing special, man. I've been clean about just 7 months now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I work here now, but it's very humbling. It's very humbling just to be part of this right here. I've been doing alumni for damn near 4 years now. I'm just trying to give back what was given to me by people in this program, and that's what drives me at the end of the day, to stay focused. And it's hard to be a hypocrite when you work in a facility like this and work with like-minded people as well.
Very good
So
fucking point.
the hard part is just showing up for me. So once I'm here, everything
I know the guys here appreciate you, so.
They do, definitely.
Thank you for having me. I am a recovering heroin addict and a pill popping animal, and it's like the probably rest of us here. I shouldn't be here right now, and I never like to forget that, and that's something I'm trying to keep on my forefront. The pain I've went through, the people I've put through so much. Can't even keep up with the people I fucking fucked over in this life anymore, and it's I have to do this for myself, but also I don't have to prove to anyone anything, but I just have to show them that I'm something other than what I was known as before. And it's
Is it safe to say you want to show them like that the you that they used to know is still there? You know what I mean?
yeah, I wanna channel the greatness inside me, because I feel like I have a lot to offer in this world.
You're building it every day.
Yeah, you never know what tomorrow's gonna bring, what opportunities may be thrown at you, or curveballs may be thrown at you. So you have to be aware of that and have all the tools in your toolbox to be prepared for that. So
Welcome, Q.
Welcome.
Glad to have you here. Josh has a good topic idea based on some stuff Q was talking about before we turned it on, and alumni tonight, so I take it away, bro.
Yes, as Maddie said, I got this idea from Q. He was talking about taking time to celebrate your successes. So when you achieve one of your goals, no matter how big it is, but especially your small goals, like taking pride and taking the time to celebrate those things is so important for us, because when we achieve those smaller goals or those successes, we can build from there and continue to make bigger goals from there. And then our future, the picture becomes a little clearer. And so a lot of times, in my experience, pride has that negative connotation to it, right? So
Depends.
Taking-
It's a fine line.
pride,
Depends on where you go.
at least in my experience.
If you take it to ego
there's
or
such thing as
arrogance,
being
yes.
too prideful.
Exactly.
But like, I think to take pride in your work is, I've always been taught, is a good thing. Like, take pride in what you do. But everybody was raised differently, or
But that's kind of my point, where I was going with it, is to take pride in the work that you've done. Like, my sponsor once asked me, and I was, I think, 2 months sober at this point, and I had told him how my week was going, what I had accomplished, and he sent me a text message back, and he's like, "Are you proud of yourself?" And I had been so busy that week that I hadn't taken the time to really take pride in the work that I've done. So once I did, it all came like rushing to the forefront of my mind. Like, yeah, it wasn't like I built a Fortune 500 company overnight or anything like that, but the work that I did was good work, and so I took pride in it, and it felt good. And it's a nice change of pace from all the turmoil and misery that we've been feeling for years and years in our addiction. So being able to take pride and feel that joy and that peace from achieving those goals is super important, because it can just propel us forward to achieve greater goals and have a greater life than what we're used to.
While you're talking about that, just real quick, the whole point of life, in my opinion, is to be happy. If you're not happy, then there's no like really a point. Like no matter what your visions and your goals and your dreams are, I'm sure it's to bring you some sort of fulfillment and happiness. So
But so, and like the thing you shared with us that sparked this topic, we were talking about like celebrate successes. And like when I heard it, I was like, well, like I don't know how much I
Sounds
can
very
like,
good.
contribute. No, and not that. It's just I'm like I don't really know how much I can contribute on this topic because it's not something I do. But then when you were talking about like
There's more.
there's more. When you were talking like the way you worded it just now, I'm like, okay, like I can understand, and that's something I do internally. But like I was gonna ask you guys before you kind of were talking about to take pride in your work and kind of phrased it that way. Like that is something I don't know. I guess I can wrap my head around more because it's something I do. But like I don't know. Like when I hear like celebrate your successes, like to me, I'm like, well, like what? Like how?
So you don't throw little parties.
Right.
$10?
I know, but I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, but like inwardly, yes, like I feel a sense of accomplishment and take pride. I'm like, damn, like hell yeah, like I fucking did that, you know, like I accomplished something I set out to do, and I do use it to build off of, you know. So when I think about it, like what you were just saying now, I guess I understand it a little better, and I understand what you were talking about when you talk about like celebrate your successes, you know. I guess sometimes I'm kind of slow and I'm like, what am I supposed to throw a fucking party every time I fucking achieve one of
I
my
know
goals?
something you're gonna relate to probably, and I think about it a little, maybe a little weird, I don't know. I think of Tim Grover,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, and I think of a bunch of other shit too, but like, I don't
Definitely
outwardly,
love
I do too. I don't outwardly like go out and party, celebrate, like go nuts when shit goes right, and a lot of shit has gone right. I'm typically like happy about it in my own mind, or peaceful that I did that, it's done, like it's cool. But then like within hours, typically I'm on to what the fuck's next.
Yeah, on to the next.
Yeah,
So
that's where I go with Tim
Mhm.
Grover, on to
Yeah.
the next, what's next, you know, like Jordan, Kobe. You
Yeah,
know,
like when they win a championship and they're already working to win another
Next
one.
day,
like,
they're up at
next
4
day.
So like you don't take breaks, right? Like taking a break is a way of how I celebrate success.
Oh, I do.
Like I'm taking a day off. I'm going to eat some cake, like you know, some Chinese
cake?
food,
Were you gonna say cake?
chocolate cake. Yeah.
Chocolate cake's
You know,
okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I do that too, not often though, like for me, I hold it until like I can take a long weekend or like a week to go someplace I really wanted to go. And like that's my celebration for like all the shit I've done in like 6 to 9 or months or a year. And I go, fucking forget about all the shit I worry about for whatever the time period is, and then I come back and get right back to fucking work.
Well, I mean, and it's like whatever.
But everybody's got their
I
own
was
way.
just
I
gonna
was
say.
literally gonna say, like, everyone does it differently.
No, but like what you're saying is when you do take a break, like say you do accomplish something, you take a little break. When you come back, you go hard, man.
That's true.
Every time.
Absolutely.
Every time.
That's why, like, I think as long as your celebration or break or whatever you want to call it
Nothing
doesn't
really.
like kill your momentum,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
fucking, you know, like almost kind of start to undo what you just did, or take you so far off track that like, you know what I mean, like it takes a minute to get back on. You know what I mean? Like that's what when I
Yeah.
think of celebrate, I'm like, no, I'm like, I don't want to like be fucking thrown off of what I'm trying to do. Like I want to keep going and figure out what I'm gonna work on
That's
next.
fair. Like I go to each their own, but for me personally, I take that week and go someplace I always wanted to go or whatever the fucking case may be. Go do my thing. I don't worry about all the shit. I'll typically work out, but it's just because for my own mental sanity typically.
Oh, for sure.
But I just do whatever the fuck. I don't worry about work. I don't worry about the businesses. I don't worry about what the fuck's going on back here. I just go have my fun. But by the time I'm ready to take that flight home or drive home, I'm like Q said, I'm fucking salivating to go back to work and do the shit I gotta do. That's the way it works for me. But if it works, like, you know, have a fucking
Like you
piece
said,
of cake, man. Go have Five Guys or whatever the case may be. Like,
You want to eat
And
cake? Go eat fucking cake.
Yeah.
And it's like maintaining that balance of the celebration, but still keeping your priorities in check for continuing that momentum. Like having your celebration, cake, vacation, otherwise, depending on who it is, but still having that end goal in mind, which I don't my end goal is constantly moving forward into my future. Like when I achieve
As
a
it
goal,
should.
there's yet another one to achieve, and then by the time I get to this one, it's a constant moving target because not necessarily that I never want to be satisfied, but I don't ever want to be completed because then there's nothing to work towards, and that might sound daunting to some people, but I don't think of it as daunting. I think of it as a challenge to overcome, some fun to be had, just a way to make progress and continue your inner growth, your inner strength. And like, we kind of touched on this in alumni tonight, was that those adversities, like inevitably we're all gonna face those because life throws that at every person on this planet. So that when we do accomplish those, it gives us that self-strength and that self-confidence to achieve goals that we didn't even think were possible. So keeping those goals in mind, even though adversities may come, I found is a very healthy kind of balance to our life.
I guess like kind of like what we were just talking about a minute ago. Like to me, like it depends on like what we're talking about, like celebrating. You know, is it like a huge accomplishment, like a major milestone accomplishment? Like okay, but like for me, like the small things, it's like I might take pride in them internally for a few minutes. You know what I mean? But like I'm not trying to like Priscilla always talks about. I'm not trying to like break my momentum. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to, I don't know, lose track of what I was doing or I don't have to restart what I was doing or like regain momentum. Like if I'm doing well and I accomplish something, like my mindset to me, like, and it's just like the driven is fuck mentality. Like I want more, like I want better. I
Of
want
course.
better for myself. You know what I mean? And yes, I recognize, and I think it's healthy and important, like, you know, where this topic came from to recognize our accomplishments and our achievements. Because otherwise, like, you may like get down on yourself and be like, oh, like, you know, what the fuck, I haven't done shit. Like, you know, so
Well,
it
it is
is
like, if you don't live in the present, like, you have to celebrate the little things that are in the present, but otherwise everything's in the future, you have no fucking joy.
So I've been thinking about this for weeks now because I've been studying. I talk to like my coworkers about this too. Like all day, they kind of get annoyed at me. But I'm studying people, and it's small victories for me. Like when it's not about like celebrating is might be the wrong word. It's just like acknowledging and
Yes, that's
recognizing
a good point.
more than just celebrating it. It's more like, oh shit, like I'm ahead of my schoolwork this week. I'm ahead of my my training shit I'm doing. I'm ahead of I had goals. I was like, I'm gonna open up. I'm working on my credit at the same time. I'm fucking learning how to do stocks right now and crypto at the same time. And like I'm caught up on all those things. And I was like, that to me that was a small victory. And I was like, fuck yeah, And like last night I went and made a frozen pizza. So like, not to celebrate, but I was like, I can do this right now. I'm not worried about fucking how to make this spreadsheet.
You got a
Or
few
like,
extra
and
minutes.
so yeah, so I was like, I don't have to. Usually I'd be up doing something else. But I'm like, I'm ahead of. I'm not gonna fall behind, but I'm literally
Maddie,
ahead of my schedule for once.
What's that?
Have you ever talked to Q about the power list?
I don't think so.
Power list with him? You should talk to Maddie about the power list, and like basically it allows you to have time for that almost every day, pretty much. Like if you get like the 5 critical tasks that you're trying to work on or that are most important to you right now.
I heard a lot of things with 5s in it from Maddie.
We'll talk to you. I'll explain it.
Yeah, I'm saying he'll explain it fully, but like in that way, like it gives yourself some time, maybe at the end of the day or whatever, to have that little bit of time for yourself. Because I think that's important too, man. Like, look, like I said, I'm always trying to work on the next shit, but I also think it's like I'll fucking go crazy and just burn myself out if I don't. Dude, at least, and when I say like, I hate the word balance because my idea of balance
I don't like the
and
word
everybody
balance
else's
either.
idea of balance, like
Yeah.
I just took on working 7 days a week for probably the next 2 years, and
That's fine.
I hear nonstop of like, you're gonna burn yourself out. Are you sure you're gonna be able to handle
I've
it?
been
It's
hearing
like,
that shit for 4 years, it's bullshit.
as long as I have like, as long as I
Not
have
for
like
everyone.
an
Not for
hour or two at the end of every day for myself to unwind and sit down and read or put on a show and eat or whatever, I feel like I'm okay.
I don't know, like you said, honestly, eating a fucking frozen pizza to me is a fucking celebration. Like, it's
So it's
a,
so fucking good.
but that's something I
That's
don't
what I'm gonna eat
typically
when I
do. And
I
like, if I
FaceTime
do
someone
that
to tell
shit,
them how happy I was. while I was
yeah,
eating it.
like honestly, that brings me fucking joy in a moment, like every
But
now
why are you
and then.
doing this?
Yeah.
Because I
I
can.
deserve it. That's what it's
Yeah, right.
Because I earned this
I didn't
motherfucking
know.
frozen pizza.
I mean, it does sound, but I mean, I've been there,
Yeah.
and I put that shit in there, and like, I'm not eating fucking eggs tonight for once. So like, I did something cool, like, and I can just sit there and like this is cool. This
I
is
put some
enjoyable.
jardinera, spinach, and fucking black olives on that bitch too.
Oh, no.
Spinach, you killed it. Anyway.
A lot of people.
Ruined the whole pizza. You ruined it.
But like, on the point of balance, when I say balance, I don't necessarily mean you have to have even amounts of time spent throughout your day. Like,
balance
if
scale
you're,
just looks like this.
exactly, so like, your balance is just like everyone's recovery is based on you. So if your balance is working 7 days a week for 12 hours a day, but having those 1 or 2 hours at the end of the day to yourself, and that's good enough for you, that's your balance.
No, but that's the way I look at it, but it's at a bigger end. Like, if I do that and I do the right shit long enough, then fucking later on, I can get the balance then.
Yeah.
I can work 5 days a week and make enough fucking money that I can do it, I can be free. Not because I want a bunch of shit. I mean, I have a bunch of shit, but like, anybody can have more. But I don't give a fuck. It's so I can be free to do what I want when I want, but I gotta bust my dick now. I look at it in terms of decades, not fucking months and years. Like, if I bust my dick for 6 years now, and I get to where I make what I need to make to be free, then fuck it. And then, not that I'm gonna quit, but I can fucking take the foot off the pedal a little bit for the last 4 years of the next 10. I see it like that, but I've learned to think in bigger time frames now. Because like when I was an addict, it was always right now, or
So
in 4 hours when this drug wears off, or that was my fucking literal.
Yeah.
That was about as far out of the future as I could fucking see at any given time.
gonna save this bag so I have dope.
I mean, an alignment, like a good word for the balance too. Like your spiritual, mental, and physical alignment is like as long as those three are aligned, you're like good mentally, physically, psychologically, physiologically, spiritually, however you want to look at it. Like you can like get by in some chaos. Like whatever's thrown at your way won't like throw you off. Like as long for some people need 8 hours a day to sleep. Some people need 4. I'm one of those people that doesn't need to sleep as much as the other person does, but I do need to like go and like blow steam off and listen to a good album and go exercise or listen to a podcast to like stimulate my brain as where someone could just do that with a conversation or someone could like do that meditating. So it's a balance, but it's like an alignment that
It's
goes in there.
personal to everybody, right? Basically, you got your way to keep like that, and I'm sure everybody in recovery around here has their way. Like you said, it varies. The
Yeah.
person just would even sleep.
Like you said,
Yeah.
you said too, it's like to each their own, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, what works for one person doesn't necessarily gonna work for everybody. Like
That's true.
Your schedule, the way you've kept it and managed to go the last few years, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it, but it worked for you and.
I don't recommend it, honestly.
I don't recommend
I really
it.
don't. I mean, I'll just be honest, like, I don't need much sleep. I'm one of those people, so I can get away with it for a while. How long does that last? I don't know. I'm taking Sundays off now, so I've gotten to the point where at least the one day is mine.
Yeah, you crash once a week.
Well, I mean, I don't even crash necessarily, but I got a day to work on my farm,
There
not
you
be in a
go.
rush, not give a shit. Like, I don't have to be anywhere or do anything in particular.
You look like you have a farm.
Can hang out with the ghosts.
It's a
You
compliment.
can hang out with the goats.
I really wanna come hang out.
You really should, because I put up a like goat gym in the barn with toys, and it's fucking
I need to see your
hilarious.
farm, just period.
Can't wait to get
When Bobby comes
Holy
home, we
size.
were actually talking about having a fucking barbecue and a get together and a bonfire, but it's gonna be a few months. But it's still shitty out, so.
Something to look forward to.
So, with all this being said, like, what do you guys think, like, why is this important in recovery? The celebrating the small victories or whatever, you know what I mean? Cause I mean, that's essentially what we were talking about this.
That's why I put it on
I
here.
know, why is it important
Because
to
it
you?
makes you feel good about yourself. It makes it makes you proud of yourself. That's what the topic was. You get proud of when you know like, oh, I didn't even know I could do this or could reach this
So it
accomplishment.
creates some belief in yourself.
You make some belief in yourself, and then you get motivated, and it also motivates you on top of like,
Yeah.
all right, my next goal, I know I'll get to those and the ones after that, but when I get here, like, oh, if I get this, what do people do when they move on up from recovery? We're starting at the bottom, right? Like most of us are coming from, where are we coming from?
Well, yeah, I mean,
A band on the west side of Chicago? The Red Line? You know,
that's
so
why,
like,
that's why I wanted to touch on it too, because like, I think a lot of guys, at least I know from myself, like,
homelessness.
didn't have any belief in themselves and didn't have any reason to have any belief in themselves. So
No.
this is a good way for guys early on, especially, like if you're right out of treatment and you have your sights set on something, even if it's something small, like, man, I need to get a job, and get a job, right? You should be fucking happy. You should be fucking feel good about that. You should internally be like, hell yeah, I did that. I can do this. And like you said earlier at the beginning, like it can propel you forward, and we can build our confidence off of it and build our self-worth and start feeling like we are capable. We have some belief in ourselves, and we can set our sights on larger things. So
That's why you celebrate, because you get belief in yourself. Because you might,
I like acknowledge better, but celebrate.
Hey, either way,
Right.
the key, honestly, I think you just said it's belief.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I can't think of anybody that had a whole lot coming in here. I didn't. I just did a group this week where I was making them tell me something they were fucking good at to make a point, which I'm not gonna get into. But I realized that shit happened to me like the first week I was in treatment, and it was one of Doc's groups, and he was like asking that, and it got to me, and I'm like, nothing. That was my honest answer. And somebody else is like, you're good at fucking strongman and powerlifting and sports, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess so. But that's where I was. That's where I was at. But like, if you can build some belief, maybe you can believe you're capable of bigger things.
And then what? What else am I capable of doing? If you don't give yourself a chance,
Yeah, it's like, it's not that we're incapable of anything, it's just that we've lost all belief in ourselves.
Exactly.
You get to a point where like you're kind of, I don't want to necessarily call it broken in rehab, but you just have no kind of
Pretty
hopeless and.
And how do you get belief in yourself?
Right.
Small victory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then acknowledging the fact that you actually accomplished something.
Even if it's a temporary, something temporary that motivates you for that fucking day, is enough to get you to the next day, because you never know tomorrow's gonna bring. That momentum carries on. You're like, and then next week you're like, oh, like maybe I'll go do this. It might even be, the celebration is a wrong word.
That's why, like,
I'm gonna change that in my own program.
I just, for me,
Just
like,
do.
for me,
No.
mentally, do whatever is good for you.
No, whatever makes
What-
sense,
What
bro.
you just shared.
I think
with
it's
us before
basically
this
the
was
same
awesome.
concept, man.
Yeah,
It's just a different
it is.
fucking word, so.
I'm just, my brain works in a funny way.
I don't want I don't want candles in the cake for everything.
Right. But no, what I'm
I'll
saying
do
is
That's what I
that
do.
we constantly like.
You want a cookie?
I do.
I love cookies.
We
Ice
may,
cream.
like, have done a lot of groups, I don't know, like, if you've talked to them all, or if you've talked to guys about it, but like, just setting your sights on like real short-term goals, like basic disciplines, you know what I mean, and like, just to create that belief in yourself, you know what I mean, like, real, just to, like, even if Maddie's, shared with the guys before, like, even if it's just like discipline on basic shit, and you accomplish these basic things that you said, like make your bed or something in the morning, and you make sure you shower and brush your teeth every day.
This was actually two things on my fucking list.
Yeah.
Fuck making my bed, but brush my teeth and shower.
But yeah, it's like.
It's actually on my initial list leaving treatment,
These
because
are-
that was an improvement.
Right, and these are little small victories that can kind of create some basic normalcy and like belief in herself that like, okay, like I don't have to live a scumbag fucking homeless fucking life.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Well, not many things, but one thing real quick.
I knew it would be
So,
one thing already.
so I make my bed. I was living with someone else a couple months ago, and Lisa, I make my bed every fucking morning.
I do not.
I have to. I have to. I have
Good
to
though,
make my
that's-
bed every single
that's
morning.
practice.
Even if I'm running late, I do it. It's weird. But every time when I do come home, even if it's a rough day, and I come home and I look at my bed, I'm like, I'm coming home to made bed. I swear to God, it happened to
Dude,
me a
you were
couple weeks
talking to
ago.
me when you were living with me about that.
Yeah. We were talking about.
That was you and
It's
me.
serious to me because no matter how crappy my day is, I come home and I
Makes
come
you
back
happy to come home.
There's something to
I look at it, I'm like, I did that.
And that is
So
discipline.
true.
It's fucking
Oh, shit.
discipline. You're making yourself do something whether you feel like it or not. That's good.
Small shit like
And whatever it is you choose to do it with.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, those small disciplines definitely create belief, those small accomplishments, whatever it is, can create some belief and some self-worth. And, you start to realize you're not incapable, you just lack the effort or desire to do any of it.
Yeah, because when we were out there ripping and running, we had no effort, no desire to do anything except for what we wanted to drink or.
Well, that's what like something like Maddie always says about like taking like our drive and addiction and kind of using it in recovery, right? It's like, okay, like we would get high no matter the circumstances or drink no matter the circumstances. You wake up broke and dopes it.
Figure
Man,
it out.
You figure it out.
No one believe me, I did.
We all did.
We all did.
I used to beg
You know,
my mom for money.
You're disciplined because you felt like you had to be,
Facts.
right? So if you turn into your discipline into positive things and
But honestly, you do have to be.
that's what I'm
If
saying.
you want
You
any
gotta
kind of
have that
life,
perspective.
your back's still against the wall, just in
Yeah.
another way.
But a lot of guys, I think, don't see like the correlation or don't connect the dots, you know what I mean? They don't feel like it's like life or death to do these little small things because they don't understand the value of it. You know what I mean?
That's
If
hard
you
to teach
understand
too.
if you understand the value of it and like where you can grow from it and like what it can bring to you, what it can do for you, how you feel about yourself and going forward, I feel like more people would understand the importance.
And you have to place your own value in those things. Like, I can't tell you how much value you need to place into, let's say, making
Yeah.
your bed, because only you can answer that question for you.
Yeah, to
And-
me, there's no value in it. I
See,
don't
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Actually,
I love making.
I love going to a
I love
hotel with a
making my
nicely
bed.
made bed, it's the
I have
shit,
to.
but I just don't give a fuck enough to do it
Yeah, so
myself.
that's what I mean. But like that's to your point. It's like
It's a
Q
great
places a
feeling.
lot of value in it because it's important to him. Okay, and that's a good discipline.
Yeah.
I don't like it. There's certain things around the house that bother me. Like if my sink that I wash my face and shave in is not spotless, it bothers the shit out of me. I promise you, my sink in my bathroom is always clean because when I was in prison, I always had cellies that would leave hair all over the sink. It fucking drove me nuts. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm a freak about that shit.
Okay.
Well, I get it, but I
Roommates in the
I-
house, when I was in the sober house, they're like, whose fucking hair is
No, but that discipline teaches you. That discipline teaches you so much more about in every aspect of life that you're sacrificing just like right now for a better later on. Like right now, I'm gonna do this, so my later on is a little